Hello and welcome to a new video on my channel. I'm the Yugijoker and today I have a really exciting Salamangreat deck profile for you to show what this deck could look like in the upcoming format from beginning of March to the end of March, and after that we have the revised Master Rule on April 1st, and I'm going to show you some changes you can do to this specific deck profile that you can still play this deck after April 1st and still see some good success. So before I'm going to start the deck profile, I'm going to say one thing really quick. I'm going to show you what I think should be the basic core of this deck that every Salamangreat deck should have. And after that I'm going to show you cards that could be interchangeable, where the ratios could be interchangeable, etc. And explain why I decided to play the ratios I am on, and let's see what we can do with this. So of course we're playing a Salamangreat deck. The first essential card is of course our Gazelle. The second one should be the Jaguar. That's really basic because a lot of decks are now running the DD Crow, and having one Jaguar banished by the DD Crow is really hard for the grind game. And a lot of Salamangreat players are playing the Pot of Desires, so you still want to have access to at least one of them. So that's why I'm playing two. After that we have the two Spinnies. Since the ban list and the ban of Mirage Delio, the rank 3 engine in this deck is actually not that amazing, so I decided to cut down the rank level 3 monsters, so like 2 Spinny and 2 Foxies. But to be fair, there are still 3 special summons, or for Foxy like with a discard, but there still are bodies on the board to help building up a board like the Sunlight Wolf, etc. And after that we have the 1 Falco and the 1 Fowl. A lot of people are cutting the Fowl, but I don't see why, because it's so good. It can block spells and traps from your opponent for a turn. It can chain block some effects, and it's actually really helpful for some rank 4 plays, so that's why I'm still on it. Next up, since the YCS Utrecht, a lot of people are playing the Prohibit Snake. And for those who don't know what this card does, if your Cyber Slink monster battles an opponent's monster, you can discard this card and bounce the opponent's monster, which is perfect to out cards like Winder, etc. and just like these big tower-like monsters or floodgate monsters. And the second effect is like if your Cyber monster destroys an opponent's monster, if this card is in your graveyard, you can banish one card from your graveyard and add a level 4 Cyber monster from your graveyard to your hand. So either this or a Salamangreat monster you want to have back in your hand. So with this you have actually some recursion to keep the grind game going. After that, in Salamangreat, still one of the best hand traps is the Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. It's a hand trap that can be recovered from the graveyard, so that's why it's important to play this card. And actually it's so good against today's meta decks like Shaddoll Invoked. Ash Blossom still negates Shaddoll Fusion under Magical Meltdown. So now, like I said, we're going to do some more basic cards of the deck and have some more monster spells and traps later on. But to the basic core of this deck we still have the 1 Sanctuary and the 1 Circle. So these are our Salamangreat spell cards that are one-offs. So of course you don't want to draw the field spell more than once, or you don't want to have more than 1 field spell, and the Circle is just limited, so that's why we're only playing 1. Next card is Silent Mining. You know this card is getting reprinted, but if you want to play this deck with a high success rate, you have to use this card. It's like you have 3 more Gazelles, 3 more Lady Debugs in your deck. It's so amazing, and you actually want to see this hopefully every game. Next card is the Will of the Salamangreat. Some people are playing 3, but from testing experience I can say that 3 can break a lot. But of course, after being Nibiru's Will of the Salamangreat helps still having some monsters on the board, or still have your Link monster on board for your traps to be able to activate. So that's really important. And for turn 2 or 3, this card helps Autocane a lot. Next up, for the last spells, it's 2 Pot of Desires. I cut down 1 Flame Buffalo, so that's why I need some draw power in this deck, and Desires is just the best generic draw card that you can have in this deck. Lastly, because we're playing the Pot of Desires, we have 2 Raw, 2 Rage. Of course, you only want to have 1 at each time, but with Desires and just you want to have a second one if you banish 1. So that's the only reason we're on 2-2. Next up, I have the 3 Lady Debugs. And like I said, the 2 Flame Buffalos, these are our play starters. And Lady Debug is actually getting a lot stronger with the new meta because, like I said, the Prohibit Snake is searchable by this card and it's just a 1 card out to cards like Winder, etc. So it's, I think, a little bit more important than the Buffalo. Of course, Buffalo can draw you into hand traps, but I have a card in my deck that helps with that as well. So that's why I decided to play these ratios. And now let's get to the interchangeable cards and cards that I decided to play. And first of all, we have the 3 Phantasmae. Phantasmae in this format is actually a little bit stronger than last format because last format we didn't have a lot of link monsters in the meta play. Like, of course, I don't know, we had decks like True Draco, etc., and True Draco's gone. Now we have Altergeist, and Altergeist is if you play versus an unexperienced player and they start with the Meloseek, they always link it away to search for the multi-faker, and you have your draw with Phantasmae and then have an negate for the Circuitous, so that's really good. And this is even good against the Shaddoll Invoked and the Salamangreat matchup for the Mirror. And it's just a generic draw for the deck. And another reason I like to play this card in Salamangreat especially is you have another monster in your hand to trigger the Sunlight Wolf recursion effect from graveyard. So like if your opponent has a link monster, you use it to special in the zone of Sunlight Wolf and add back, I don't know, a Gazelle, etc. Because without Mirage Stelio, you don't always have access to Jack Jaguar to special it in the zone of Sunlight Wolf, and this helps with that. Next up, I like to main 2 Nibiru. From the experience I had in YCS Utrecht, I saw not a lot of player being able to have the Appaloosa as 5th summon. Next up, I like to play 2 Cosmic Cyclone for the spell and trap removal. This is more like a specific thing to our local, because at our locals we have a lot of back row decks, a lot of Mystic Mine decks, and if they do the Mystic Mine Field Barrier combo, they have the Mystic Mine already on field, activating the Field Barrier, you just chain the Cosmic Cyclone to banish the Mystic Mine, and it's basically game because they can't activate another field spell because of Field Barrier. So this is really good. And lastly, the 2 Infinite Impermanence. You could opt to play 3 of it, but I like to have only 2. I actually think that Impermanence is not the greatest hand trap at the moment, but it's more like a going first card for me to set it and have just an extra negate on board. And of course it can negate spells and traps, which is amazing because a lot of Lunalight players still use their Pendulum Scales and Pendulum players, of course, so you can negate Tigers and such stuff. So this is exactly a 40 card main deck. Now let's get to the extra deck. So essentials, 3 Balings and 3 Sunlight Wolf. I don't think I have to say anything about this because they're just basic. And of course 2 Heat Leos. Heat Leo is good for the OTK or to spin back spells and traps. So that's why I like it. And like I said, I'm doing more of a rank 4 base deck. So that's why I'm coming later on to. For the other link monsters, I have the 1 Nightmare Phoenix. Still, it's a good card to remove spells and traps. Like I said, we have a lot of back row matchups at our local, so this helps really much. After that, we have the Update Gemma and the Transcode Cloaker, just for OTKs. Like, this is one of the easiest OTKs ever. Just go into Update Gemma, use Update Gemma and another monster to go into Transcode. Transcode reborns Update Gemma, like this. So they both gain attack points, and it's just game after that. And Transcode can attack twice. That's really good. And because we have the update gemmer, I still like to play Borrowed, because Salamangreat has problems getting over big monsters, and just another tower monster like it's the Evermax. Evermax helped out a lot against control matchups because it's untargetable, and a lot of control decks need to target to remove monsters from the field, like Altergeist, for example. And then for the rank 4s, I just like to turbo out Dweller and Beguska. Beguska is just not that amazing. I might change this for like a Tornado Dragon to have more spell and trap removal, but Dweller is one of the best rank 4 monsters ever printed. Just like shaddolls can't use the effects, I don't know, Invocation for the Invoked matchups, Salamangreat it's good against. It's so good against a lot of decks. Now I'm gonna show you my side deck, which is personally not perfect for every tournament. That should be something you should be aware of, but it's something you could do. It's amazing. So like to play the 3 different dimension grounds. Saw a lot of top players using it, and it's so good against the Shadow Invoked matchups, or to just stop decks like Salamangreat. Then we have the Anti-Spell Fragrance. It's good going first. So against combo decks we have the Dark Runner more. Against background combo decks we have the Lightning Storms. And again, against back row decks we have Twin Twisters, and then the one Pankratops. And that's it for the side deck. Now let's get to some cards that I would change for the Master Rule 5. So first of all, it's the Phantasme. I still don't know how good Link monsters will be in the new Master Rule, but I think at the beginning they will be played a lot less. So that's why I think we should cut this card. But a card we could put in for this is 2 Gizmek Kakus, the new Fire Gizmek, which is amazing because it's just like Phantasme, another free special summon. It's a fire monster, so you can recur it with Sunlight Wolf, and you just special it in the zone of Sunlight Wolf to add back a Salamangreat monster or even another Gizmek Kaku. And then I would change the third one for Imperial Order. I'm even thinking about doing it right now to play only 2 Phantasmes and 1 Imperial Order, because it's such a good blowout against a lot of decks, even against Mystic Mine, against Salamangreat Mirror, against I don't know, Shadow Invoked. Like, it's one of the most important decks right now. Alright, that's it for the deck profile. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Leave a like as well and subscribe to the channel. I will post a lot more deck profiles in the upcoming days. But as you can hear, I'm a little bit sick, so let's see how that evolves. But I hope I see you again on this channel. See you soon. Bye.